Welcome to Are We Old? The show featuring two comedians getting nostalgic and tackling life's toughest question, Are we old? Here's your hosts, Mike Finoia and Charles McBee.
Oh, we're back with another episode of the Are We Old podcast. I am half of the Are We Old head crew, Michael Finoia.
Oh, we're going full governments. Okay, I am the other half, Charles Hamilton McBee II.
Hamilton.
What's going on, man? What's up, old heads? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Let me hear you. Make some noise.
How's everybody doing out there tonight?
Old heads. Old heads.
We're getting into that winter season. I'm forcing myself, dude, to get nostalgia over Christmas this year. I really want to enjoy this holiday season.
Do you?
And
I mean, you have to. Is it a particular reason why you feel like you have to force yourself as opposed to other holiday seasons of the past?
no, just because life is,
Gotcha.
the world is shit door to door these days. So I'm just trying to this may be one of the last ones that we could just remember when, you know what I mean? So I just want to really make sure that this one is special. And I'm so stoked for Are We Old because we talked about it, and we are going to spend the next couple weeks going through some of our favorite nostalgia Christmas stuff. I mean, holiday stuff. I mean, this is such a good time of year to get nostalgic, I feel like, right? I mean, even as a kid, it's just built-in nostalgia. Even when you have not a lot to be nostalgic about, you still feel nostalgic around the Christmas season. You dive into it.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. Well, that's the great thing about the Christmas season, but that's also the thing that people always kind of tell us or remind us or warn us about, to check in on check in on people, check in on friends, because this conversely can be some of the most depressing times for some people. So you always want to. I try to keep that in mind because you're right. It is very nostalgic, and it's very, because I really get into it, especially when I think about the old days or growing up as a kid and Christmas time and stuff like that. And so sometimes I can forget, or I can assume that everyone's Christmas is like that, or everyone feels that way about Christmas. And so I try to remind myself what if this is everyone else's heightened sense of joy and nostalgia can be someone else's heightened sense of the opposite, so
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. No, that's very true. And I don't know about you, but I've had a couple that have been ugh, God, you see people happy and you're like, ugh.
Yeah. there's some holidays you just check out depending on what the occasion is. I mean, shout out to all the single people that just give February 14th the day off. No social media, nothing.
Go to Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people even that begrudges couples for showing their love and PDA on social media on Valentine's Day. I'm like, go for it. I'm not going to be on that day, but y'all go for it. But yeah. You know
what we did one year on Christmas recently when there was just a whole bunch of BS I didn't really feel like dealing with and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be huge family get-togethers. It didn't really turn out to be that the past few years, and it's not going to be probably.
Mm-hmm.
But what we did was we rented a cabin deep in the woods, and it was just my wife and I, my sister, her husband, and her kids, and we just went and had a literal off-the-grid Christmas. We stood outside in the freezing cold and burned wood, and we cooked food, and we made pine cone bird feeders out of peanut butter and whatever, and we put it out on the trees. Lo and behold, turns out we were feeding bear, which I didn't think about. Literally, might as well just hang a salmon around my neck. But we had a fantastic time. We were just shut off from the world, and it was this thing of kind of this is what it was like at one point.
Yeah.
So and there was a nice barn owl, a white barn owl, just hanging out over the house. It was super weird and cool. But that was it reset me a little bit. And this year, for our amazing fans and for us and for the world, we are leaning into Christmas nostalgia this year, holiday nostalgia. And I can't wait to go over this with you because nothing's better than talking about our favorite stuff from our childhood, together.
So where do, as the Joker said, where do we begin?
Oh my God. I mean, dude, I would say when I look back on Christmas, and you tell me if you're right or wrong, if I'm right or wrong, if you're on the same page. When I think about Christmas, it's the songs, it's the movies, and it's the TV shows that kind of get me geared up. Like this is when we start to ease into, okay, if I really need to escape, there's some channel that's got phenomenal Christmas shows, classic Christmas movies, all the way to these like Hallmark dog shit, like a Diva's Christmas or whatever. If you really got it, like if you're really if you need the fentanyl of Christmas shit, you can find a bump somewhere. You know what I mean? Find
it exactly.
Yeah, and the
now,
TV shows,
even Netflix tries to get into it too, which is like it almost feels weird because at least with like the Hallmark channel and the whatever Lifetime, at least it's seasonal, and so it feels like they're ushering it in. But when you're on Netflix, it's a different. I can't watch a holiday special on Netflix. I just can't do it. I need it to be, I need it to be programmed television. It can't be streamed in my home. It just doesn't feel right.
You know what else makes it feel real too, dude? Is the commercials. Like I like to see the holidays is when I like to see a good commercial for like a toy train set or like a whatever the hell. Just I'm happy M&Ms, for kids baby. In that way. M&Ms, dude. M&M Christmas commercials are the greatest, right? I mean, let's talk about it.
They are real. He is real.
He is real, Santa. And he's like trying to wake him up, and he's like, like that house is just so cozy, and those M&Ms all live together. Who would have thought at this point in the M&M's career, what agent do they have where they can't afford their own place? They're all living in one weird Victorian together. Yeah, seriously?
And who knows what they're getting into with that? I mean, with that green M&M, my God,
that green M&M is going through some shit, dude.
I mean, she's running around, showing ass and tits all over the place, and then they've been kind of just like getting it in. And you got that one, you got the freaking Hershey's Kisses jingle,
the bell ringing.
I mean, come on, what are we doing?
And then that last bell gets tired and like wipes it, goes whoo, like that at the end with its thing.
Yeah,
classic,
classic, man. Yeah, good commercials. Good old Fifth Avenue. Greedy bastards, bringing some holiday cheer into our
brainwashing us at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, think about that great like Coca-Cola polar bear shit. I mean, what a cool idea. But if that was real, that polar bear would be balancing on a Coca-Cola bottle lid because his iceberg melted 6 years ago. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Or the entire ocean would be filled with Coca-Cola cans.
Coca-Cola. Yeah, the oil. Coca-Cola covered Exxon oil. It's actually a commercial for Dove soap washing off the Coca-Cola on that baby duckling or whatever.
Yeah, totally. Shout out to Dove. No, Dawn. Shout out to Dawn.
Dawn.
Who capitalized on that national tragedy.
I mean, literally, they're like, yo, if we could clean a baby duck, we could clean your lasagna tray, dude. Like, we got this. Don't worry. We'll get the pot roast off your plate. We just cleaned a bill of a duck.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Amazing.
Oh, my God.
Good old capitalism.
But yeah, I love capitalism around the holidays. But this year I'm tying weights to my ankles and I'm diving deep in. So
great. What's the vibes?
Well, right now, I'm kind of like Home Alone is something that like, as far as movies go, there's a couple that like I can watch continuously over and over and over again. And I wanted to ask you your thoughts on, first off, let's hit a movie. Home Alone.
Okay. I mean, can't go wrong with Home Alone.
You love it. I mean,
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, bud.
I don't know. I was just agreeing. You do love it. I do. I love it. But I also look at it through different lenses now as an adult because there's a lot of adult takes on it that I see that I didn't see as a kid, where I'm just like, holy shit, I never noticed that. It's one of those types of movies I feel like where
what in particular?
Well, like the fact that Kevin McAllister was a piece of shit to his mom in the beginning of the movie. I watched that as an adult, and I'm like, how did she not backsmack him into next week? She should have kicked him down a flight of stairs. The way he was like calling her an idiot and cursing at her and like the whole shit. And I wish I was never here. If that had been Home Alone, it would have been called Without a Home.
Without a home, dude. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, you're being sent to a home alone.
Alone. What?
Dude, when she goes, I don't want to see you for the rest of the night, and he goes, and I don't want to see you for the rest of my life. And it's like, whoa, kid.
Yo.
Fucking ease up.
Easy.
I remember watching that with like my aunt when she, one of those kind of kids these days moments, you know, and she goes, ho, 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 like she kind of gave him like a, she was ready to like pull out her wooden spoon out of her holster.
Bro, if that was me or like my kid and I was on the plane and I realized that I had left him at home, my first thought wouldn't have been Kevin. It would have been, fuck him.
Fuck him.
I would have woken up from a deep sleep on the plane and been like, fuck him. And went right back to sleep. Ordered a martini.
Like you wake up and you go, this is why I'm having such a good time. Right. And then you just go right back. Paris is going to be even better without that little fucking bastard. Dude, the whole thing, all the kids in that movie make me, that's the reason why I don't want to have kids, is the beginning scene of Home Alone. When they're running around like fucking lunatics, they're all going in different places. Little Nero's Pizza shows up with a whole bunch of pizzas.
Yeah.
And who's paying for these pizzas? What's going on? These kids are running back and forth. They're not paying attention. You can tell they're spoiled brats, all of them, wealthy parents.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, no, we don't live here. Even like the parents, like the aunts and uncles and shit, are ignoring this poor pizza kid, you know?
Yeah.
And then they sit down around the table and it is just utter pandemonium.
Chaos.
Like the beginning of this movie gives me like severe anxiety, which if they were shooting for that, you nailed it.
You did.
Because I can't take it when the chair slides back and it smushes the kid's face. When the Duncan, when the milk spills, look what you did, you little jerk.
You little jerk. Yeah.
And then when Buzz is just like shoving pizza down his fucking mouth with his finger.
But it also, for me, because when I'm at a restaurant, right, and a kid is like taking feces and throwing it against the wall and smacking the waitress in the nose.
Where do you eat, dude?
Listen, sometimes you go to a old country buffet. You go to,
oh my God.
You know,
you gotta come over, dude. We'll take care of you.
No, but when I see like a kid just acting a complete ass or whatever, I never blame the kid. Never blame the kid. I always go parents, because it starts at home. And when when all that chaos and all of that corruption, it started with, but prior to that day, it didn't just start that day. It wasn't just like, this is the day where everyone goes crazy. That lets me know like, oh, they just let this shit go on all the time, even with the adults. If the adults are assholes, of course the kids are going to be assholes.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. And those are the kids of the parents that are fighting at Toys R Us or Walmart or whatever over a Tickle Me Elmo and shit.
Exactly. You watch those doomsday videos of some housewife punching some old lady in the back of the throat trying to snatch a goddamn Tickle Me Elmo. And you're like, where are we?
Yeah. And for a moment, let's just take a dovetail into the Tickle Me Elmo massacre of 19, whatever the hell it was, for you Gen Zs and Gen Alphas that may be listening. Google or YouTube Tickle Me Elmo insurrection. Yeah. That's what it would be called.
Just stormed a Walmart.
They literally stormed aisle 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. And parents were trampling over each other. There may have been casualties, but there was a time before Amazon, before ordering on your phone, where parents went and camped out outside of a Child World or a Toys R Us, like they were waiting for Taylor Swift tickets
or a KB Toy Store. Remember KB?
Oh my God, or a KB Toy Stores. And they would wait outside by the door, drinking Baileys and coffee out of their thermos to buy your stupid ass Tickle Me Elmo, a toy that you were going to play with maybe 10 times and then go, and throw it away. And they would fight over these things, dude. Crawl over walls, punch, rabbit punch, pull ears,
Lord of the
fish
Flies.
hook.
You would see them lifting the gate on the store, and they would like World War Z, just crawling under the gate. Insane.
To get you a toy that is now floating in the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Right now, it's a shell on a crab.
It's great. And before then, it was in the 80s, it was Cabbage Patch. I mean, there's always like a thing.
There's always a thing
that causes.
There's always a thing.
Yeah.
Beanie Babies were another one that caused a mass hysteria. I think PS4 or something. There were video game assaults. I'm sure Mortal Kombat 2 maybe was one that maybe got people pretty fired up.
Yeah, I remember more like the video games. Maybe there probably were. I think it was the ones that made national headlines were always like those damn toys, like those stuff, because that's the ones where the parents are like, I have to get my angel, my sweet pumpkin butt poopsie sweetie baby, this whatever for Christmas. It's like a testament to some void they're feeling.
Oh, buddy, it's got nothing to do with sweet little pumpkin butt baby poopy, because let me tell you, if that kid was a sweet little pumpkin baby butt, they'd go, Ma, you tried. I'm happy with this, sit and spin. But instead, these parents, you want to know why they're doing it? So they could go to the fucking gym and they can go, I got my kid everything that they wanted. Mm-hmm. I elbowed an elderly woman in the face. I broke glasses. Mm-hmm. I maimed another human being to get my kid a Tickle Me Elmo.
That's right.
And that kid is tickling the fuck out of that Elmo right now while that other kid is crying.
That's right.
And good. I'm the mother of the year. Mm-hmm. That's why they do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's got nothing to do with their kid. And you want to know what? That kid's a piece of shit now. That kid sucks, dude. I asked my mom for a video game once, and it's interesting because me and Bart Simpson went through something together. Bart Simpson wanted Bone Storm. That was the big video game on The Simpsons. Mm-hmm. But Marge got him Lee Trevino's Putt Putt Challenge because the guy at the store said this is the game that everybody wants, right? I think it was like Bases Loaded or Blades of Steel or some Nintendo game. I think it was one of those two. My mom got me Spelunker. Spelunker was the stupidest Nintendo game in the world. You basically were a spelunker. You were a cave investigator or whatever, and you had to like swing from a rope. And if you bumped your head or your feet on something you weren't supposed to, dead. I tried playing this game so many times, dude, just to make my mom happy. It was the worst game on the planet. And I had to go, oh, thank you, Mom. I really appreciate Spelunker.
I always,
it was terrible.
I always try to rationalize, like, okay, the thought of like a parent when the kid specifically says they want, Double Dragon or whatever, and they go, I know they said they wanted Double Dragon, but I'm gonna get Splunker instead. Like, I guess in their minds they figure video game, tomato. It's a video game,
right? Like they don't understand. And also, I mean, I give her credit. She went out and bought me a game, whatever. But God, what a horrible game! And I imagine Spelunker was maybe the only one left because it sucks so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think she went like, this kid doesn't deserve what he wants. Of course. I think she tried, but didn't try that hard.
Yeah, I think
which is kind of like, that's pretty much like the synopsis. I think I just summarized my childhood right there. They tried, but they didn't. Hard. They weren't sweating. I mean, yeah.
Oh man, Home Alone.
So
I mean, look, it's definitely up there. I mean, it's a classic. It's a great film. I think one of those other things that people always meme about is like that scene in the grocery store where he gets like a ton of groceries for like $9 and everybody's like, wait, stop the movie. What the fuck? He was able to afford all of that. Eggs? He got eggs.
He got eggs, dude. One of the things I think about a lot in that movie is when the tarantula got loose. Mm-hmm. And the whole time, like now as a writer, this is something thinking about it from another perspective, right? Sitting around that writer's room, did they have the foresight to go, oh, let's have a tarantula get loose, and then later on, he's going to put it on Daniel Stern's face, You know what I'm saying? Like as a writer, it's like, or did they go, oh, fuck, I got it. There's a tarantula walking around this monstrosity of a house. Maybe he just grabs it at the right time and puts it on his face.
I feel like there was so much setup in the beginning with that damn tarantula. Like they really zeroed in that Buzz had a fucking tarantula that it feels like they were like, oh, this is gonna pay off in the end, boy.
Yeah. That tarantula should get like a best supporting actor role, you know?
Yeah. I just recall like them, and as a kid, I definitely empathize and sympathize with Kevin, because you're zeroing in on the kid that feels like the outsider, that doesn't feel like they belong, that doesn't feel like they can, they get along with everybody. Buzz is picking on them, and the uncle is mean to him. So it's like I go back and forth now because he was a little asshole, but it's like at the same time when your uncle's telling you you're a little jerk and blaming you for ruining Christmas, you kind of you're gonna carry some of that angst as well.
She goes, "You're what the French call les incompetents."
and you remember when he replayed everything in his head, it was always with extra stank on it than how it happened in real life.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Right. You always internalize it way worse than what it was. So he was...
Kevin, you are such a disease. That redheaded cut. And they did such a great job of casting such shit-faced relatives. Oh, such hateable people.
Yeah, very punchable.
Yeah, so punchable. May we discuss the South Bend shovel slayer, the neighbor?
Of course.
I mean, that whole kind of sub-story of the movie and how the two of them end up kind of becoming pals, I really like that. As I've gotten older, I have found that to be my favorite part of the movie, is Kevin overcoming his fears. He's got two hardened criminals, right? Two burglars, okay? Keystone Caper, your textbook burglars with their hats and fucking you name it, right? Pesci, God, what an unbelievable character. But he's not scared of them. He's got this. He goes, I'm gonna hang a paint bucket. Fucking 2'5" Kevin McAllister is gonna hang a paint can and make it swing perfectly. The kid's like I hope he's teaching physics online now. Kevin
MIT.
McAllister.
If
Literally,
Kevin McAllister
this kid
is not a professor at MIT, then I don't know what the fuck.
How's he setting up torches to like literally burn just the part of the scalp to not kill you, but maim you enough to scare you out of this life you've chosen?
Yeah.
Okay? Like somehow he's going to burn the hatred for your father out of your head, you burglar, but he's not going to kill you.
I wondered because they never really set up that part. I mean, not that it was necessary to it, but they never really gave us any, well, how is he a acquisitive kid? Is he into... is he in the garage making bombs or whatever? Is he testing things? It was never that. It was just like, oh, here's this. I mean, were we supposed to believe he was just coming up with this shit on the fly?
Charles, he goes like this. When they come back, I'll be ready.
Yeah, you did.
That's the setup, dude. And then it did that amazing trick that I've learned now from working on TV where the sun goes down. And while that sun was setting, he learned physics. Like literally Einstein and Tesla visited him and said, here's everything you need to know about like how to use science to protect yourself, to literally track the adult steps of a grown-up male, to put the nail at the perfect step. So it would dude, if I tried that, the burglar would have stepped over the nail and then grabbed it and punctured my eye with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But back to the old man, right? The South Bend shovel slayer, he goes, I'm not afraid anymore. You hear me? I'm not afraid anymore. And he goes outside, and then that dude walks by and he goes, ah! And he runs back in the house terrified and goes under the bed or under the sheets, right? The fact that he was scared of him, but not scared of the burglars, right? As I've gotten older, I've kind of thought about it, and it's like Buzz put that in his head, right? Remember? He was like, you ever hear of the South Bend shovel? And just that impressionable thing of as a kid, when some other kid tells you a story,
you believe it.
You're like, oh my God, dude, that guy's he just kills people and puts their bodies in that sand garbage can of salt to like, and I thought about that. And then when they're sitting at church together and he sees how sad the old man is because he doesn't have anything with the family and all that, right? And he gives him advice. This is the Christmas miracle in this movie to me, is when the table turns and he addresses his fear, but also helps out the old man and goes, you should make up with your son. It's little fucking, it's just so wild. And then he's hugging the granddaughter later, and he kind of gives him like a, hey, you did it,
Right.
I love that part of the movie. I think that guy, maybe, he looks like a Vincent Van Gogh looking sad, old, dying man. You know what I mean?
Well, they all do when you're that age, like the house on the corner that nobody really goes by because you're afraid. They're just they're just a person.
There's just some smelly old man that just, he has no reason to do his leaves.
To you, it's the boogeyman.
Exactly. But I like that part of the movie. Yeah. I think that's really like a sweet part of the movie. I love when he throws the party and makes the train set kind of carry Michael Jordan around the house again. Great. Who the hell are you?
It's great.
Where'd he get those?
I mean, they are rich, so he probably just had it, or it was Buzz's or somebody else's. He just took from. How many people lived in that house is what I want to know.
That's another thing, who was dude. I don't know.
Were they just staying over for the holidays, or like how many? Yeah. Who was actually just living there? Buzz obviously had a room. So it was Buzz,
Kevin. I think the sister. I think there was 3 of them, and then the other ones. Because remember when like the one of the shitty adults goes, "Oh, this is my brother's house" or something like that. When the what's his face was pretending to be the cop. Pesci was pretending to be the cop. You're in good hands. Ding. And then he shows the tooth. Yeah. She goes like, "Oh, it's my brother's house" or something like that. So I think they were all there visiting, but I think there was the 2 parents, the 3 kids in that massive house.
Huge house. We always want to know what did the dad do? What did he do? I mean, later you see him on The Sopranos, and you're just like, oh, okay, now we get it.
Yeah, it's mafia. Yeah, he's a lawyer for Paulie Walnuts, basically. But I love it. I think it's a classic. I love it. Follows that traditional theme of like a Christmas movie where there's some other shit going on.
What
that's. Like a struggle in the family or whatever, and we have to resolve it, and we'll do anything we can to be together on Christmas.
That's the point. You gotta be together on. If you're together on December 26th, you're fucked. You're going to hell. All for naught. You might.
It's all for naught.
All for naught. So it has to be on Christmas, and that's like that. That's the pinnacle of any good Christmas movie. It's just like it has to happen. The thing has to be resolved by Christmas.
Yeah, and if you really love each other, by midnight on December 24th at 11:59, if you can be together and maybe in a cozy bed while some steam's coming out of the furnace, then that's a good Christmas right there.
Can we also mention, speaking of fear, I mean, he had another big fear. Remember the other big fear Kevin had?
The furnace.
Those inanimate objects that will come alive at certain points when you were a kid. I thought that was such a great representation of something that we all went through. There was always some thing that we were just like, nah,
What was yours? Do you remember any in particular?
I remember I was afraid of going I was afraid of going into the attic or anything that having to do with an addict of any kind. So anybody's addict, I don't care if it was at my house, I don't care if it was at a friend's house, anything addict, I felt like there was something living up there. I was fine with basements. Attics, forget about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I remember, this is a little embarrassing, but I'm being transparent here.
I've been embarrassing so bring it.
So I remember I was over at my friend's house, and we were, and the older sister was telling me, like, there's bats in the attic. So you can't go in the attic because there's bats in at nighttime. They could get out or they could get loose and fly through the house. But here's how dumb I was as a kid. I didn't know what a bat was, like animal, bat. So I thought bats came alive.
Oh my God. Really? Flying bat? Like, where was your friend's house? Fantasia?
Yeah. Bro, that was I remember at that time conceptualizing like, wait, what? Bats come alive? And they're like, yeah, bats. And they come out. And I was just like, what does that even mean? So I'm just like, I'm thinking bats come out and club you in the head. Yeah.
Flying bats.
I was 11. No, I'm just joking. I was
yeah, you were. You were 19.
19.
You know what I was always afraid of? When I would go outside to take out the trash, and then like the garbage cans for some reason were always, no matter where we lived, because I moved a ton, they were always like far away from the house and like around the corner to like a garage or like a shed or something like that. We always kept them like for some reason, unnecessarily far from the door. But it was my job to take the trash out. So I would have to walk at night after dinner, take the trash out, and I would drop the trash in and I'd turn and run back to the house because I was afraid somebody was like hiding in the yard to get me. So I would have to that was my furnace, was like the darkness behind the garbage cans. So I would probably because when I was a kid, my uncles would like hide behind shit and jump out at me. But like, I used to that was my fear, was like someone's waiting in the yard to like kidnap me or kill me or what. So if I heard a noise, I was like, my feet wouldn't hit the ground, dude. I was like Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, like just running back to the house.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Something always lurking in the shadows. That was always the thing when you're a kid. If it's in the shadows, I'm not with it.
Yeah, totally. I drive constantly, right? I'm in the car all the time. And I rock Sirius XM most of the time. And that's not a plug yet. Listen to my stations. And then now they're advertising holiday stations. Like this is the time of year when we start to get into they're playing music. And I threw on one of the channels and a song came on that I want to talk about with you because I'm a little bit like, there's some Christmas songs that just like, what the fuck was this? Who wrote this and when and how were you?
Yeah.
I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those ones.
This is one of those
the Jackson
ones.
5 version or?
Well, that's what came on. Is that the original? It can't be, right?
No, but it's not, but it's the most popular.
It is definitely the most popular. And I think it's kind of hilarious when you parallel like the Jacksons to the lyrics in that song, because it's so not like, it's going to end in a domestic dispute. Like the cops are coming, One of the lines is like, oh, how funny would it be if Daddy saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus? And I'm like,
how funny,
Joe?
How hilarious. Yeah, if Joe came
down the stairs and saw Mrs. Jackson tickling Santa under his beard, there's going to be some Santa blood on the floor. And I don't think Joe's going to be on his hands and knees scrubbing it out.
It's not going to be milk and cookies. It's going to be some furniture moving.
It's going to be teeth and fucking, fluid.
Yeah.
You're familiar, obviously, with this song.
Of course.
I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus underneath the mistletoe that night. She didn't see me creep down the stairs to have a peep. She thought that I was tucked up in my room fast asleep. Mommy is having an affair with a mythical creature inside the house. A fat old man. Mommy has a fucked up fetish, dude. What is going on in this house?
Well, I may be wrong about this, but in the song, Santa Claus is dad.
But she doesn't know that yet.
No, he doesn't know that yet.
Right.
The kid.
Yeah. But they're role playing.
Right. Yeah.
So he basically walked in. That's the end of that's like the hook at the end is, it's just these two are, their family, the marriage and family therapist was like, listen, if you guys want to spice up, the relationship a little bit, maybe try a little bit of role play.
Hopefully, it would just be good he didn't walk in at the wrong time. If there was a little more,
with his candy cane out and some reindeer and shit. Now there's bestiality shit going on.
I saw Daddy kissing the nurse. I saw Daddy kissing the secretary.
I saw Daddy perusing OnlyFans. Mommy's got some pictures of her feet. No, it's just kind of like as a kid, you're listening to this song and you're like, my mother's cheating on my father with
Santa Claus,
with an old weird mythical guy. But turns out your mom just has a fetish for dudes in a sweaty fucking dudes, by the way, because there's no Under Armour Santa outfits back then.
If Michael was just like, you tell Michael, like, no, Mike, don't worry. It's just your dad dressed as Santa Claus. And Michael was like, but he was white. And you're just like, oh.
Oh. So maybe that's why Michael eventually turned white.
There you go.
Traumatic memory of his mom
Having
cheating on Joe with an actual old white Santa man.
That's it.
I saw mommy tickling Santa underneath his beard. Like, oh, what a laugh it would have been if Daddy had only seen mommy kissing Santa Claus last night.
What? I mean, that is interesting. Why does that kid think it would have been a laugh? That, like, in that kid's mind, he thinks this would have just been hijinks.
Dad, you're never going to guess what Mom did last night. She fucking cheated on you. Yo, Dad, guess what? I forgot to tell you. Mom's a whore. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I drew it on my Etch-a-Sketch.
Now I get to have 2 Christmases every year. One at Mommy's, one at yours.
Yeah, and my new stepdad is Kris Kringle.
Yo,
imagine that.
Yo, if your ex-wife married Kris Kringle, you lose. You lose. Your kid doesn't love you.
Do you get alimony at that point? Like, do you get, like, you're obviously on the naughty list. You're never getting anything.
Well, he only comes around once a year, but when he comes around, he comes around.
Everybody comes when he comes around. Yeah. It is a white Christmas, if you know what I mean. Yeah. There's a lot of mistletoe. I don't know what that means, but
there's certain songs that are now banned during Christmas. It's cold outside. Don't go anywhere.
Oh yes, the date rape song.
The date rape song. I remember. Now they make a big deal about how it's. First of all, it's not banned. You can play it anytime you want. It's not like the marshals are going to come and burst through your door if you play the song. But you don't hear it on the radio and stuff like that anymore. And I do remember as a kid, similar to like the Mommy Kisses Santa Claus. I do remember listening to that song as a kid and going, bro, she's just not that into you, bro. Like,
dude, maybe she has a puppy at home that needs to go out and she doesn't want it to shit all over her new rug.
Yeah.
And she's trying to be polite and go like, yo, dude, I really shouldn't stay. And he's like, that's what I love about that song is it just, to me as an Italian man or an Italian boy growing up, it was like, this guy's such a scumbag, dude. Because he just sounded like just one of those croony, like not taking no for an answer fucks, where it's like, I've already stolen your keys.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you're gonna start feeling it soon. That's what we used to do. Is like we take it up a level. Like he put a little bit of he put a little au jus in the cocoa. You know what I mean? And he's like, "You're gonna be woo."
She just starts slurring her words halfway through the song. I really can't.
She's like, "My mother will start. Don't worry."
You're like, is it?
And he's like,
"It's like, is the tape jammed or something? What's going on?"
Yeah, like you are getting sleepy. That is a song that, I mean, how does it end up? Look, she goes, "Your eyes are like starlight now." I ought to say no, and he's like, "Mind if I move in closer?" This is like literally like at least I'm going to say that I tried. What's the sense in hurting my pride? What the fuck? Dude, if that was on a tape now.
Oh, God. Oh, right. And they read it in court.
This literally, if they read this in court.
Just read it straight as a deposition. No melody, no nothing.
You're very pushy, you know. I like to think of it as opportunistic. You're under oath, Mr. Bing. Do you remember saying this, Mr. Crosby? Mind if I move in closer?
Yeah.
I mean, it is a little bit, I mean, like she goes, my sister will be suspicious. He goes, God, your lips look delicious.
You disregarded everything.
Fucking hilarious.
Just said to you. Oh my God. Yeah.
He even gets like, maybe just a cigarette more. Never such a blizzard before. My brother will be there at the door. Waves upon a tropical shore. Now he's just smoke and mirrorsing her.
Yeah, just gaslighting the whole time.
He is. He's a gaslighter. That's it. Right. Chestnuts roasting on a gaslit fire right there. She goes, at least I tried. At least I tried.
I tried. What? Oh, my God.
It is kind of fucked up, but back in like whatever days, it's like, oh, how cute. He just wants to get a nut out.
Persistence is key.
Persistence is key.
Playing hard to get.
Yeah. he's like, well, thank you for trying, but I'm stronger than you, and it's 1941.
No one's gonna believe you.
yeah. He's like, I got you an apartment in Chicago because you're not gonna make it in St. Louis anymore.
Oh my God. It sounds like an old studio executive from like
it really, the Harvey Weinstein anthem.
Yeah, or just like not even like before Harvey, like way back in the day when it was just like everything was in black and white and like there was just zero rights whatsoever.
Yeah. Like if you burn the toast, you got like chained to a radiator for a day. Like just horrible shit. My dog's going nuts. Do you hear that?
Charlie doesn't like the song either.
Well, man, I think obviously there's some songs that maybe if it comes up on this station, then I might listen to it. I might not. We don't have to agree. Do we separate the art from the artist? I don't know.
I mean, listen, I listen to certain songs. Or I listen to like that song and I laugh at like how we just did. Now I don't go, turn off that song.
I'm offended. I'm boycotting Christmas trees now.
Oh my God. You know what? Take the song and the radio and get in a tub and fill it with water. Shut up.
Yo, so this is going to be the first of a few walk down memory lane Christmas episodes, holiday episodes, whatever makes you happy. Call it what you want.
Let us know. Let us know what your favorite, what should we talk about in the upcoming episodes? Movies, songs, toys.
Christmas traditions. Let us know your holiday traditions. We're going to get into what it was like at school towards the end of the year. That was always fun when you had to give people gifts who you hated.
Oh, yeah.
And you forgot, and last minute you had to get it at Walgreens or some shit.
Yeah, Secret Santas, all that bullshit.
Are We Old Podcast at gmail.com. Are We Old Podcast at gmail.com. At Are We Old on the socials. At Are We Old Pod on YouTube. Patreon.com/Are We Old Pod. So much great stuff happening over here, guys. We're loving doing this with you, and we've got so many fun plans for the new year. It's going to be a real hoot. So subscribe and get ready for what's to come. But let's celebrate this. I would call it a monumental holiday season because it might be the last.
Let's do it. Well, let's ride this bad boy.
We love you.